What's up YouTube, NCG here bringing you a Grass Feast Infernoid deck profile. Now, since the release of That Grass Looks Greener, or Lawn Mowing as it should have been kept, Infernoids are starting to see a comeback. Now, Infernoids previously in the meta were relying on stuff like Reasoning, which was at 3 until it got hit because of the use in Cosmo, where they would just mill the amount of decks and then banish to special summon, which is how they kind of work. Now the Grass is Greener comes back, or That Grass Look Greener, however it's called, I'm going to call it Lawn Mowing, is now back. You activate it and you can mill X amount of cards from the top of the deck until your deck is equal to the size of your opponent's. And then they can go off. So they definitely received a huge boost with that, plus their new track card, Void Feast. So without further ado, we're going to crack straight into it. It is a 60 card deck. Now it's a 60 card deck because of exactly the reason I said Lawn Mowing. If you've got 60 cards straight away, you're going to be milling a third of your deck, or near enough a third of your deck, thanks to your opponent having a 40 card deck. Now a mirror match will be very, very interesting, but we're not going to get into that just yet. Right, so straight away you play triple Infernoid Unonku. This is your big beater of the board. This is the, all big Infernoid cards cannot be normal summon or set. They must be special summoned from your hand or graveyard by banishing X amount of Inferno monsters from your hand or graveyard, while the total levels of all ranks, while the total levels and ranks of all effect monsters you control are 8 or lower, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. So when this card is special summoned, destroy all monsters on the board. So it's your Regeki. Once per turn during either player's turn, when a spell or trap card or effect is activated, you contribute one monster and negate the activation. If you do, banish that card. And so Unonku is the boss, and he is closely followed by Deviati. Now I do only have 2. You can only play it at 2 if you wish to, but you do, like, if you can get a third one, do it. The only reason I don't have a third is because the price is a bit ridiculous for a deck that's been dormant for a while, and I should have picked it up earlier. So Deviati is pretty much exactly the same as Unonku, except for the fact that when this card is special summon, you destroy all spells and trap cards on the field except void cards. Once per turn during either player's turn, when another monster effect is activated, you contribute one monster and negate the activation, and if you do, banish it. So Unonku does board wipe and monster effects, spell or trap effects, and Deviati does heavy storm and monster effects. Next up, I play triple Andel. Now this could be your third Deviati. You can play Andel at 2 if you want to, and this card is basically when it destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can activate this effect. This card can make a second attack in a row. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you contribute one monster, then take one card in your opponent's graveyard and banish it. So it kind of like halts your opponent on their Northern plays. Zoom in a bit better for you there. Next up, we play triple Infernoid Sisymus. Now, this card, again, is very, very nice. They all kind of share the same effect, that they cannot, your board has to be, effect monsters, levels and ranks need to be 8 or less. If this card attacks an opponent's monster, this effect can be activated at the end of the battle phase. Banish one card on the field. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can target one monster, then tribute one monster, then target one card in your opponent's graveyard and banish it. So you're getting rid of your opponent's graveyard. Next, triple Infernoid Decatron. This is the only one that can be normal summoned. So when it is normal or special summoned, you send one Inferno monster from your deck to the graveyard except Decatron. And if you do, increase this card's level by that level of the sent monster. And if you do, this card's name becomes the sent monster and replaces its effect with it. So it's basically like a monster switch kind of thing. You send, and then Decatron becomes the sent monster. You play triple Infernoid Patrulia. Try and tie this up a bit. So this guy can only be special summoned from your hand by banishing one Inferno monster from hand or graveyard, while the levels blah 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 are all the same. Basically this effect is once per turn you target one spell or trap card on the field and destroy it. This card cannot attack the turn you activate this effect. And then again it's the quick effect of tribute one monster, target one card in your graveyard, one card in your opponent's graveyard and banish it. Triple Infernoid Antra. So once per turn you target one face-up card on the field, return it to the hand. That's its main effect. These are all pretty straightforward. All the lower levels are pretty straightforward. sorry, triple Infernoid Harmonic. So once per turn, you entitle one monster on the field, destroy it. Again, it cannot attack. It's basically a monster popper. 2 Primus for the last of your Infernoids. Once per turn, you target one set card on the field, shuffle it into the deck. This card cannot that card cannot be activated in response to this effect activation. Once per turn during your opponent's turn, tribute quick effect. So they're all very, very straightforward. And basically the way Infernoids work is it's basically banish, get one of the big beaters that are less than 8 or 8 or less on the board, and then get a second big beater that is again 8 or less on the board, and just go for game. They are a pain in the ass to deal with. They were before, and they probably will be now. It'll be very interesting to see the top cuts of Seattle. Next up, you play 2 Raiden the Hand of the Light Sworn just to help you with mills and a level 4 tuner. And then you play MVP of the deck, 2 Fairy Tale Snow. Now, the amount of stuff that's going in your graveyard is incredible, and Snow just, you know, Book of Moon on summon. It's a very, very good card. Very, very nice. It's a common, and I think they've kind of, because of the rarity, they've kind of met it by making it a short print. So that's it for your monster lineup. Very heavy monster lineup, but you are milling a heck of a lot. Now on to the new card of the deck. That Grass Looks Greener. Artwork, amazing. I think it's so funny. I always like it with these little grass things. They're always really, really nice. And the detail in the background, I mean, is incredible. So basically, if you have more cards in your deck than your opponent does, send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard so you have the same number of cards in the deck as your opponent. So this is very, very good for mill decks, Light Sworns, and Infernoids, hence the fact you play this guy at free. At this moment, it's not that expensive, so I do highly, highly recommend that if you want to build Infernoids, if you need it at all, pick it up now. It's like 20 to 25 quid. I wouldn't pay any more than that. I think you can probably get it safely at 20 quid. Now, the reason I say pick it up now is because you do run the gamble. Now, the gamble is it could drop a little bit lower, but I think 15 to £20 is kind of like its bracket, is what the card should technically be worth. But the second, if an Infernoid player tops at YCS or tops anywhere with a very, very high rated deck, this card will spike. And that's only if it can battle against the Zodiacs. So if it puts up a fight against Zodiacs, this card will spike. So that's just a forewarning. All the other support cards have kind of not spiked massively, but they've all gone up in price, such as Void Vanishment. So you can discard one card, add one Void spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, except Vanishment, or Null and Void. Also, you cannot normal summon or special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except Infernal monsters, which you're probably going to be doing 9 times out of 10 anyway. You can only use this effect of Void Vanishment once per turn. If an Infernal monster you control battles an opponent's monster, after damage calculation, you send this card to the graveyard, banish those monsters. So it's clearing your opponent's big beat boards if you have to. Triple Void Imagination. Now we do play Tierra in the extra deck, so this is what you want. Infernal monsters you control who original levels are 2 or higher become level 1. All battle damage they inflict to your opponent is halved. You can send this card to the graveyard, fusion summon one Infernoid fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or your side of the field as fusion materials. If your opponent controls a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, you can also use up to 6 monsters in your deck as fusion material. So, you know, this is a very, very nice and easy way to get into Infernoid Tierra. Triple Left Arm Offering. This is to search out your Lawnmowers. This is to search out whatever you need. I mean, in a 60 card deck, you need a bit of searching, and this card is it. So if you have 2 or more other cards in your hand, banish the entire hand, add 1 spell card from your deck to your hand. You cannot set spell or trap cards during the turn you activate this card. Doesn't really matter. You don't usually be setting too much. Double Void Seer. You target one Inferno monster you control. That target is unaffected by your opponent's card effects this turn. If an Inferno monster or monsters you control would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard and instead of destroying one of those monsters. So very, very nice protection, especially in a mill deck. It needs graveyard effects, which is why I have put in 2 Galaxy Cyclones. For the pure fact, if you mill it, it's not the end of the world. If you mill it, it's okay, because you can still use this effect to pop in grey. You can put this up to 3 if you want to. You can put to Twin Twisters. But the way I see it is, if you mill your Twin Twisters, you are boned. If you mill your Galaxy Cyclone, you're doing okay. Double Charge of the Light Brigade. Send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Add 1 level 4 or lower Light Swarm monster from your deck to your hand. This is only useful if your 1 of 2 Raidens is still in your deck. If it's not, these are dead cards, unfortunately. Double instant fusion to get into your Norden. Your Norden can then help with bringing back your Snow, bringing back your Raidens to then go into a level 8 Synchro, or to then go into a XYZ rank 4. 1 for 1, just to get your Decatrons to send what you need to send. Reason, because even at 1 it is still very, very strong. Your opponent's either going to be calling 1 or 4. If they call 4, they've got 4 targets to hit. If they call 1, they've got 3 targets to hit. But the chances are, doesn't really matter, you're going to get the mills that you want from it anyway. Burial, to return your banished Infernoid so that you can go again. Because, you know, once isn't enough. Monster Gate, you tribute one monster, reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a monster card. They can be normal summoned, special summoned. Also, send the remaining cards to the graveyard. Again, another mill card. It's what you need in this deck. Dark Hole, to clear the board, you can Raigeki if you want. You pretty much have a Dark Hole in an Unku, but if you need to clear your board so you can start going off, this one helps out massively. Now onto the traps. The brand new trap, Triple Void Feast. Send 1 Void spell or trap card from your hand or face up from your field to the graveyard. Special summon up to 3 Inferno monsters from your deck whose total levels equal exactly 8, ignoring their summoning conditions. Now this is very, very nice because if you activate Void Seer and then chain Void Feast, you can send Void Seer while still getting its effect, and then using Void Feast to get his effect off. Now, with Void Feast, I do recommend playing the level 5, like not highly, but you can, there's a level 5 Inferno card that I couldn't find at the moment in time, so it's not in my build, and that helps out massively with Void Feast because they've got to make level 8s, so you can easily get that level 5 on board, plus your Decatron, plus your Antra if you want to. Otherwise, you're kind of limiting yourself to Petrulia, Antra, Harmadink, Pricemus, and Decatron. Sorry. You could obviously go straight for a big beater if you want to, but you ideally don't want to be doing that. Double breakthrough skill, again, for the pure fact that you're milling, so you want your cards in your graveyard to still be useful should you mill them, and this helps out massively against Crystal Wing, against Siegfried, against Zodiacs, so these are very, very helpful during your turn, especially when your opponent wants to Trident you, or if they've got a Crystal Wing on board. And then 1 Vanity's Emptiness, because once you set up your board, you flip this, GG, you might as well shake hands. So that is it for your 60 card Infernoid deck. As you can see, very, 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 very big. Not many traps, but quite a lot of spells. So there's that. Now onto the extra deck. We play 2 Infernoid Tierra. Now Tierra is the argument of needing a third Deviati because you need 1 Anonku, 1 Deviati, and 1 or more Inferno monsters. When this card is fusion summoned, you can apply these effects in sequence depending on the number of fusion materials with different names used for this card's summon. 3 or more, each player sends 3 cards from their extra deck to the graveyard. You don't really need to worry about your extra deck too much, so that's very, very nice, especially to clear out a Zodiac's extra deck. It's tight as it is. 5 or more, each player sends the top 3 cards of their deck to the graveyard. That's helping you anyway. 8 or more, each player returns up to 3 of their banished cards to the graveyard. Again, plussing you more than them. 10 or more, each player sends their entire hand to the graveyard. Again, helping you out more than your opponent, which is beautiful. Double Cyframe Lord Omega for the pure fact that you can get him off the board, leaving your board clear to you, then reuse your Infernoids because you don't have a level 8 on board. Very, very nice, and it recycles your banished cards. What more could you want from a card? 1 Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon for the pure fact that he is on Armades. 1 Scrap Archfiend because you can bring him out on board, and because he doesn't count as an effect monster, you can still then use your Infernoids. 1 Black Rose Dragon to clear boards because, you know, you don't really care about clearing boards, you can then just banish and go off yourself. 1 Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon and 1 number 62 Galaxy Eyes for Prime Photon. Now this is basically just to get into, you can level these up even higher if you want and go into your full armor. Your Cypher Galaxy, sorry, what douche, wrong card. That's the one, Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragon. Right, so you use your Cypher Dragon, you steal your opponent's card, you then go over it into, you then overlay your Cypher Dragon into a Galaxy Full Armor Photon to clear any issues you might have, and it's kind of like a tight spot, get out of jail free card. 1 Hope Harbinger because some decks cannot continue without using specific spell cards, so you wait and steal it. Red Eyes Flare to burn your opponent out because it's always nice to watch your opponents suffer. especially in an Infernoid deck. That's what you want to be doing anyway. So if you've taken them down low enough life points, if you haven't already killed him, you're just going to go into Red Eyes Flare and say, come at me, bro. One Castell, because you're always going to need a Castell. You know, if your deck can make a Castell, please put him in there, because he is probably one of the best rank 4s ever done. And he's been used since Dauntless Alliance all the way through, and he is such a great card. And then you got Utopia and Utopia Lightning, because sometimes you can't beat over stuff. Sometimes there is a Crystal Ring you can't break through skill. Sometimes there is a Chaos Max Dragon you can't beat over. But this guy will do it for you. And to help get you there is your Norden. Until this card gets banned, that is what we'll be using. So, that is it. That is very straightforward on a Infernoid deck. Very to the point. I highly recommend. Now, there is a little bit of hype around the Infernoid cards for the pure fact that Grass is making them that next level. You can probably still pick up what you need relatively cheap in comparison. I guarantee, like I said before, if this flops at Worlds, yeah, you can pick them up really cheap. If it doesn't flop at the Worlds, not Worlds, sorry, at a YCS, these will be going up in price, hands down. Deviai already went up in price because it didn't get a reprint. Decatron is still going up in price as well. And Grass is at a relatively, as I can say, it's at a balanced price. It's at a price where you drop 20 quid on it, it's not the end of the world, because you can probably get that money back in value in trade. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, big thumbs up on the video, comment, subscribe, share the video so everyone knows. And until next time, guys, we'll see you then. Thanks.